Hey guys, so what you're looking at right now is some sweet, sweet Ace of Spades gameplay. At least I'm crossing my fingers that it's going to be good because I haven't actually recorded the gameplay yet. But my purpose here right now is to talk to you guys a little bit about, I don't know if you guys may or may not be familiar with this theme or this idea, but my school has it's pretty much like a high school confessions Facebook page where people can post completely anonymous confessions about anything, like who they like, or who they think is hot, or who they don't like, or if they cheated on their boyfriend or something, which is a rare one, but it happened yesterday, I guess. And these confession pages they're interesting. They're good. They're a good way to connect the community in other ways that, well, in ways that otherwise wouldn't really be possible. They give us a window into all of each other's lives because it's not like people don't post it. Obviously it's all anonymous, but you can still, like, if a sophomore, sometimes sophomores talk about, the whole sophomore drama thing, or junior drama, or senior drama, or freshman drama, or whatever. Everyone sort of talks about their own thing and how they, or sometimes like how they really admire someone but they're too afraid to tell that person. And so it makes everything, they're definitely, one thing that can be said is that they can definitely be used for force of good. But one thing that's been happening a lot recently, and something that I believe is not good, is that a lot of people have been using the whole confessions thing as like a medium to sort of spew out one's controversial opinions. And while I still don't think that the idea of, getting one's controversial opinions out is inherently a bad thing, a lot of the things that have been happening at my school are just people saying a lot of whether it's like blatantly racist or homophobic, or just the saying general things that make either a specific person, are pretty much attacks on a specific person or a group of people at the school. And that's been happening a lot recently, and it seems like a very strange thing to do. I mean, obviously it's understandable, but at the same time it's very unfortunate just because these people can all of a sudden use the internet as like a shield behind which they can hide, and from behind which they could spew their opinions but not have to worry about other people finding out who they are, because their main goals are just to insult people, to make other people feel bad, to get out their sort of passive aggressive, I hate this person, I don't agree with this person's opinion, and I'm just going to be an asshole about it all the time kind of thing going on. And even this, it's bad, but it's like it obviously it's at some point it's understandable. Like, the internet is going to be when you have freedom of speech, you're going to have assholes, you're going to have people who, take advantage of freedom of speech just to be assholes. But at some point there's a line that is drawn, and that line was drawn a few days ago after a few people have posted confessions talking about how they have problems with depression, and so they walk to their therapist's office from their house. And apparently multiple people do this. I don't know, maybe they're not both going to the therapist or whatever, but they both walk across this bridge, and they confess that both while on this bridge always look down and consider jumping and think about how nice it would be, or all that stuff. That's, I mean, some people understand, some people don't. And anyway, and then someone posted a confession, which obviously isn't even a confession, saying, to those people who think about jumping off the bridge, why don't you just jump? And I do not think, I really hope I don't need to explain why that's so bad, why that is most certainly unequivocally crossed the line. And so I won't go into that too much, but I think at some point the point has to be raised that the person hosting the confessions page also maybe should have some sort of responsibility for this, because if they take their, I mean, obviously people they take their job seriously, like they want to, purport or have the whole freedom of speech thing, and so they post people's confessions whether or not the confessions are offensive, which I understand. I might not approve of it all the time because some confessions can be offensive, but I still think that that's fairly arguable. But when you post a confession, like quote unquote confession, that just says to the people who contemplate suicide, why don't you just commit suicide? That's not even a confession. That's just extremely offensive. That's completely irrelevant. That's just a person being being a selfish, kind of self-centered asshole who doesn't obviously have like any idea how to interact with other people. That's not a confession at all. That is no relation whatsoever to confession. So I think that at some point, if you're gonna claim that free speech is what you're going for with these confessions, and if you're claiming to sort of like champion the cause of free speech, you have to be responsible at some point, because not all things are. I mean, in the United States, there are laws, as my friend was talking about to me earlier today. We have free speech. You can always argue or whatever, argue away towards free speech, but there are still laws saying that if you're in a crowded room, you can't yell fire or like gunmen or something. You can't put other people's lives in danger or create utter chaos with your free speech. And so However relevant to the whole, legal side of things, the whole confessions thing is especially the one that I talked about. It definitely seems like a problem that may not be that out there yet, just because confessions seem like a relatively new thing, and obviously everything is still developing a lot, really just in its baby stages still. But this is definitely something that needs to be considered. And if I knew who ran the confessions page, I would surely encourage them to think about this, just because it doesn't seem like it just doesn't seem right. I don't know if you guys, hopefully you guys agree with me. If not, I'm sure you have some legitimate opinions that if you'd like to share, I would be glad to hear. But otherwise, thank you guys for listening to another rant, I suppose, of mine. Peace out.